Okay, so for this video, we want to talk about when should you expect to receive your tax refund for 2022 or the 2021 tax year filed in 2022. So generally a good rule of thumb is you should always expect to wait at least 3 weeks. So the IRS issues a tax refund within 21 days of the return being e-filed and accepted. A lot of people receive them much sooner, right? So a lot of people do get them within 7 to 10 business days. But a good general rule of thumb is if you e-file your return, you should wait at least 21 days if you set up the direct deposit to be able to receive your tax refund. Now, if you paper file your return, completely different story. Paper file returns take significantly longer because the IRS still has to open the return. A human being actually has to look at it, process it, enter the information. And so you're just looking at weeks to months to be able to get the thing processed and receive any kind of tax refund. Now, where do we see significant delays for this year? Well, there's a couple of problem areas. And a lot of these happen every year, frankly. But for this year, it's even worse. So the Earned Income Tax Credit, EITC, this is available to low-income taxpayers that have qualifying children. So it's a tax credit that's both refundable and non-refundable, where you can actually have zero tax liability and actually get a check cut by the IRS. So the IRS flags these more often than not if you're a Schedule C filer. So if you don't have a W-2 and you're self-employed and you report earned income in that manner, they generally kind of put a hold on the return and look at it a little more closely to verify your self-employment earnings. The next one is the child tax credit. This always gets a little bit of a pushback. So the IRS looks at these a little more closely, again, because it's a refundable tax credit. They want to verify your income levels, and then the names, dates of birth, and the social security numbers of each child that you're claiming as a dependent. Right? So they want to verify that they're actually real children and they're your dependents. The follow-up issue with the child tax credit for this year is the advanced child tax credit. So this is the letter 6419 that you've been receiving. The advanced child tax credit was just that. It was an advance of the payment that taxpayers received over a several-month process, and then they file their tax return to report a true-up or down of the amount that they're owed or the amount that they might have to repay back to the IRS. Now, what makes this complicated is on the 8812, where you claim the child tax credit, you have to report the amount that was advanced to you as evidence on the 6419. Where we're seeing problems is the amount that you actually received doesn't match the amount on the 6419. So there's a disconnect between what the IRS thinks they paid you already and what you actually got back. So if you're in that position, you can expect, again, your tax return to be flagged and halted and subject to further review, because the IRS isn't going to pay you out more money than you're legally owed. So if they think that they've already cut you checks for these advance payments when they haven't, you're looking at some delays with your tax return. And then the last one for this year is this third stimulus check. So you remember every taxpayer, if you qualify, got 3 stimulus check payments. So there's EIP 1, 2, and 3. The third payment, many taxpayers did not receive, or they received partial amounts. And so on the 2021 Form 1040, there is a method to claim this third economic impact payment or the third stimulus check on your Form 1040. On line 30 of the Form 1040, you can claim, they've labeled it a recovery rebate credit, where you can claim that third stimulus check if you didn't get it. Again, the problem with the advanced child tax credit amounts, very similar issue, is if the IRS thinks they already issued you this payment and then you claim it again when you file your tax return on line 30, it's going to get flagged, right? They're going to think you're double counting your third stimulus check, and so they're going to hold the return, and there's going to be further inquiry to see whether or not you actually received that third stimulus payment or not. So these are the problem children we're seeing: EITC, CTC, the advanced child tax credits, and then this third stimulus check, EIP 3, that came out early in 2021. Now, how do you check your filing status? Well, if you file your return electronically, highly recommend doing it that way. Please avoid paper filing. It's just so inefficient. and it does not work most times. So make sure you e-file your return. When you e-file your return, if you've received a confirmation that it was accepted, you can visit the IRS website here, irs.gov/refunds, and there's a portal where you can input your Social Security number, your filing status, and you can input the exact amount of the refund shown in your 1040, and that's how they'll verify your identity. So in order to verify your identity on this portal, you need your Social Security number, your filing status, so that's whether you're single, married filing joint, married filing separate, or head of household. And then you input the exact amount of the refund on your 1040 down to the dollar. It's got to be exactly down to the dollar. And if you can input those 3 fields, then that'll verify your identity, and you get a window that shows at what stage your tax return is being processed. Has it been received? Has it been approved? Has a refund check been issued? If it's been issued, then that's a good sign. That means you can expect a direct deposit, or if you opted for a mailed check, it's probably in the mail. If it's held up in the processing stages and it's kind of in limbo, then you just need to wait. If it's in limbo and you have one of these 3 areas here that is on your tax return, that's probably the issue, right? So if your return is held up and it's been processing for a while, it could be one of these 4 problems. So unfortunately, you do have to just kind of wait a while. Again, the processing delays can be several weeks to several months. I've had taxpayers that have had to wait upwards of a year to receive their tax refund. So you got to be patient, unfortunately, but just a heads up, if you are experiencing delays, it could be one of these issues, but you can always check the status by going to this website here, irs.gov/refunds, and that might give you an update as to at what stage your refund or your tax return overall is being processed. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Thank you.